Peace, peace, peace. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. Today is Monday, and we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations today. Today, this is not an attack, this is to bring awareness and to have a conversation because, as men, as people, for us to grow, we have to talk about things so we can grow. So, we're going to talk about the silence war on masculinity, and we're going to be talking about sexual distortion that's emasculating men. So, let's get into it, my friends. As you guys know, man, and you feel like they need to listen to this live, send them this because we're going to bring a whole lot of truth to this live. We're going to talk about deep subconscious things that's in man that nobody wants to talk about. We about to talk about the whole 411 so we can bring in the divine gentleman. So let's get into it. The silence war on masculinity. How did this start? A lot of this started in the slavery timeline. In the slavery timeline, a lot of indigenous man was colonized. And these men, they was colonized, they were raped, they were killed in front of their kids and their wives. So a lot of indigenous men, a lot of black men still have shame, still have this program, still have this inheritance in their DNA. So this is why a lot of black indigenous men, they don't want to show up in the home. They're not in the home. They're avoiding responsibility. They don't want to talk to the baby mama. They don't want to be for the kids. They want to also just focus on other women because they validate them. This is what the war on man has been, because the war on man has been also in this time where we told men not to be emotional, not to be in their emotions, not to show their emotions because they are weak. So how do men process things? They go smoke. They go out with their friends, or they just be in a car, or they just be in the bathroom. So this is creating man to not to express, not to articulate. So then in the family and home, when he's trying to articulate, he's trying to express himself in the family and home, he cannot, because he feels like she's going to judge him. And if she's judging him, he can't be his radical, authentic self. But this is all correlated of what happened in slavery time, of when we was colonized. So if this is you, this is resonating to your soul, this is resonating to your DNA, you need to forgive yourself and take accountability. And in this timeline, what are you going to do so that don't happen again? These are real conversations you have to have with yourself. But men have a tendency to avoid things. Do not be that man. Do not avoid your purpose. Do not avoid being that man that women and kids need. Another way things have put in collectively, or the war on man. These movies and these men in dresses. Let's talk about it. This stuff with the Medill, the Tyler Perry, the Martin with the Big Mama house, and all these dresses things is intentional to make man more feminine. Now we live in a time that men want to paint their nails. I was at the beach with my wife the other day. I seen two men, they toes polished. What is that? I ain't judging, but yo, what is that? Because from the origin of painting your nails, I thought that was a feminine thing. So why is men doing feminine things? We got men that they can't even build a fire. We got men that can't even build things, but they want to paint their nails. This is the world we live in. This is what we have created. Is that right? Is that in alignment? We got men that don't want to do martial arts. We got men that don't want to fight for their family. That's the war on man. Man thinks powers is always money. Money, 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 money. I want to get the bag. So when a man don't got a bag, he don't feel like he a man. And then you got shows like Pop the Balloon. You got things of women showing that they want a man with a lot of money. But what if a man never had a lot of money? So what you think he's thinking in his psyche? He think he's not a man. So now he's not going to put himself out there to date because he feel like he don't have that money. He doesn't have that power as a man to attract his mate. This is the trap on man. Now we also got men that when they was younger, they probably went through some sexual trauma. They probably went through some sexual distortion. Even if they didn't go through sexual distortion, you got men that been curious about being with man or wanting to be with a man. Some of these men never come out. Why do these men never come out? Especially in the indigenous community, it's a lot of homophobia, especially when you are African. When you are African and you tell your dad, you tell your family you gay, they think you abomination. So you got a lot of men who are gay but don't come out. You got a lot of men who are athletes who are gay and got these big old muscles. They look so strong. They look so intimidating. But that's a mask. Because deep behind all those muscles, that man like booty. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, hey, it's no judgment over here. But where are the men who wants to lead? Where are the men who wants to bring in the heaven on earth? Where is the man calling out other men when they are in this distortion? Let's get into the sexual distortion with this Jeffrey Epstein. I posted a reel that talked about the Jeffrey Epstein's files isn't just about the files and the satanic rituals and the pedophile stuff. It's a lot of the shadow aspects of man. Because when you have a lot of money and you have not worked through your trauma, you haven't got through that drama, all those fetishes, all those desires, all those unique things that you like, it's amplified. It doesn't go away. You want it more. So let's say you like porn. You got a lot of men who got a lot of money that's operating in these porn things. So they do these fantasies that they seen in porn, and that's what they doing in real life. They even will attract women and want to do porn things with these women. And if they don't do that, they're telling a woman there's something wrong with them. And then when these women do that, and then after they leave them, they start to think, well, it's my value, is my energy is just sexual energy. This is the war on man that also correlates to the feminine, that creates leakage. This is why it's not a core foundation of families in this world. And now when the dad's not there, now the mom and dad can be in co-creation. Now we raising kids in an imbalanced home. Now with the kids in an imbalanced home, how are the kids not going to be in balance? This is where we are collectively. So if you are a man, this is the time to tune into your sexual energy. Where is it distortion? Just because you want to do something or something feels good, is that alignment to your highest connection with source? Some of us are lower 3 chakra dominant. Some of us need to clear that out our field. Some of us need to go back. We need a time travel. Yes, you can time travel. You can do it in meditation, or you can go back, start to think about something that happened when you was 8. Where were you? Get very detailed of the situation, and you will time travel back to that time. Because when you are triggered, When something's in the body, all you got to do is open that trigger and you go back to that timeline, because when you are triggered, you are not in this reality. You are in the wound of the core energy of what happened in that old reality. So we have to move in a way where we have to clear these old timelines, especially when you are a man. When you have a great foundation where it's a man in the home, it's multiple men in all these different homes. These men know how to do martial art. These men know how to build things. These men are connected to source. What you think it do to the collective conscious? I want you guys to put this in the comments. What you think it do to the collective conscious? We're more in sovereignty. We're more balanced. We're more in unity. We're more in coherence. So do you think we'll be codependent off the government? Absolutely not. Because we would trust our full self-sovereignty. Because men know who they are. Women know who they are. And this is what we are moving to. So it's so many men out there that are scared of some things that they done in the dark that's going to come to light. You got a person named Jay-Z that's going through this right now. You got other people that haven't been spoken about going through this right now. You got men who are not even celebrities going through this right now of sexual distortion. With Aquarius season being right now, the Aquarius is all about partying. It's all about collective. It's all about being ahead of your time. It's all about being futuristic. But Aquarius also means you're very open. You're free spirit. So some of us are very free spirit, but it's no boundaries. So this is why it's too much fluidity that's going on right now. It's not to say that some man ain't supposed to be a different way or a woman ain't supposed to be a different way. It's not to say that, but it is to say that biologically, if we don't have man, women creating kids, how can we evolve as a population? You cannot. If we got all these men gay, we got all these women gay, how can we co-create? You cannot. So what you think will happen to our species? We are out. So you don't see how it's a war with this? Why you think they putting so much more fluidity out there? All this stuff with men wanting to be certain ways and the transgender and all these different things. I'm saying these things because I know these things are sensitive. This is not judgment. If you feel like in your highest version, you need to be that. If that's you, be that. But if you are going from influence, we need to have this conversation. Some of us is smoking too much weed. Some of us is eating too much bad food, especially if you are a man. Some of us is smoking so much weed, and this weed that we have is a feminine plant, and it's making you more feminine. This is why you don't want to do nothing. You just want to sit around. You just want to rest. So this is why the feminine is mad at man, because they feel that man avoid responsibilities. Man can't hold their weight. Man cannot be reliable. And some of it's true. So when are we as men is going to shift to a different level and be accountable of our actions and be accountable of being leaders? Men are supposed to lead physically. Women are supposed to lead spiritually. But it's been an imbalance with man leading physically. And when I say physically, that doesn't mean always fighting. It means being about your actions. Actions is physical. When you are in action, you have to actually physically move. This is the laws of the universe. This is the creation of life. This is beyond your human. This is beyond your religion. Source with human species made a woman to have a vagina and a man to have a phallus. And they supposed to come in co-creation, and that's why it's an onk. This is why sex means sacred energy exchange. If it's leaky, it can cost you. So all these secrecies that if you are a man, you are going through is creating leakage in your family, leakage in your money. Because a lot of men like their money. It's creating a leakage. If you are secretive, you cannot be embodied. This is very, very important. If you are a man and some of these things resonate to you, I want to be the man to say, I love you. You do not need to be fixed. You are not broken. You had to go through this process. Because on earth, you have to go through challenges. You have to go through difficulties to see who you really are. Some men are confused. Some men are confused. Some men went through something when they was younger, and it could have been with a man, that they are confused. Well, I like that stuff that he did to me, but why did I like it? It's sex. Sex feels good. So get out something's wrong with you. This might be to a woman too who's listening to this. You probably went through something when you was younger and you liked it, or you don't know why. It's sex. It feels good. But that doesn't mean that is you. That doesn't mean that is you. So take that energetic feel off of you, because the highest frequency is authenticity. But the highest power is sexual energy. If you don't have power over your sexual energy, it will overrule your life. Do not allow this to be you. Do not allow this to be you. They want us too horny. They want us in that lower root chakra. That's what they want. Because now you cannot be a main character in the game. You can't be a main character in the game. When you haven't overcome those things, they will use it against you. Because it's a thing called quantum entanglement. Because we are all one. We are all connected. So the other side know what you like, what you desire, and if you haven't overcame it, it will be used against you. Some of us have shame of the things that we have done. But if you just say it, it cannot be used or put a power over you. So, some things that I had to work through individually on my own journey. Some things that I did in my past. I was a womanizer. I cheated. I didn't know how to talk to women at a time. I was really angry at life. I was mad at women. These was real true things. And I was mad at men. But while I was mad at men, I'll put all my energy to the feminine. And I will emotionally dump on women. Because I never felt safe with a man. I was molested and my dad wasn't really consistently there. So I never felt safe. That's why I never wanted to be with a man too long. because I don't know what he's going to be trying to do. But me expressing this out to you, it cannot be used against me. I know that was part of my path. I know I had to go through those things because I'm here to help to teach other people how to move through those things. If you don't say your biggest shadow aspect, it will be used against you. So start saying it to your friends, to your family. If you're a content creator, put it out. Put it in your music. So it cannot be used against you. So it clears the power. It clears that secrecy that is hunting you. If you guys are following what I'm saying, put a heat emojis in the chat if you guys following what I'm saying. Because we just now getting ready. We about to get into some more things. This needs to be truth. I am a person all through my life. I knew it was something wrong with this planet. I knew it was something wrong with the vibration. And I made the decision at 23 years old. I'm no longer waiting for anybody to bring the change. I'm no longer waiting for a man to bring the change. I'm going to be the change because it was a man named Michael Jackson who made a song called Man in the Mirror. And sometimes you got to look at yourself and make the change. So I made the decision to look at myself and make the change, to bring inspiration, to bring influence, to bring that light path 11, which is the vibration of influence. 11 is the highest influential number. So I was like, you know what? I'm embody my chart. I'm embody my name. I'm going to embody the things that source give me so I can give it to the people. Because when I help the people, it activates me because we're all one. We're all abundance. We're all frequency. We're all a sound wave. We're all a spiral. But some of us have a human vessel. Some of us is a tree. Some of us is a lion. Some of us is a gorilla. But we are all a sound wave. We are all a snake. We are all a dragon. That's the spiral, which is the Kundalini. We all came from Kundalini. It ain't one soul that's on this YouTube or Instagram that did not come from Kundalini. Unless you a clone. But that's a whole different conversation. But this is true facts. It's a fact. So if you have not really worked through the sexual distortion, it will hold power over you. Do not allow this to go into Pisces season. Do not allow this to go into Pisces season. Because when Pisces season comes, that starts, I believe, on February 21st, I believe. Yes, February 21st. This is when things are going to get a whole different level of capacity, expansion, dream, and what we're going to move into this reality because we're going to be in a year of one starting February 17th. So all the things you need to clear in the year of 9, complete it, complete it, complete it. Some of you guys who are unraveling because it's something in your game, it's something at the level where you are at in the game, you are stuck. This is a video game. Do y'all understand this? This is a video game. Just like when you're playing the game and you at level 5, if you don't do a certain thing at level 5, you're not going to get to level 6. And then eventually, if you keep being at that level, they bring in a guide to help you so you can move to that level. This is where we are at. I am a guide to help you. Yo, get unstuck. Remember, this is child's play. Stop being so serious. Some of us are so serious, that's repelling the money. That is repelling the abundance. That is repelling your woman. That is repelling your kids. So many men who are in the vibration of the lack of abundance is so focused on the money, they cannot be present with with their kids. They cannot be present with their wife or their woman. So this is why their woman is mad. He's never present with me. He don't even remember my favorite color. He don't even know how to take me out. Now the kid's mad. My dad, I just want my dad there. I don't care about the money. Or you got these dads that got all this money and want to just give it to the kid. The kids don't care about that. They care about presence. Presence is a priceless value. We got men overstimulated from the game of money. We got people in this world that has so much money that the person that I'm talking about is also on the Guinness World Records books of how many books he have bought. I mean, how many books people have bought from him. He's not happy. He's still chasing. He's chasing. So I want you to ask yourself, are you chasing or are you attracting? What are you chasing? Are you chasing or are you attracting? Because if you're chasing, you will never be fulfilled in life. And a lot of men got money and not fulfilled in life. Y'all want to know why? They forgot that they are source. They don't want to lean in to the connection of source. They don't want to lean into spirituality. They want to be in their ego. They want to be in that power. They like when people worship them. They have power over them. That's what some men like. We even got some men that's on the spiritual side, but they're still doing sexual distortion. They will attract women clients. They will see their trauma and use it and try to get something. Or man clients and try to get something because they have not worked through that shadow of sexual distortion. What is sexual distortion? When something has so much power over you that you are wanting to do it at times you shouldn't be doing it, or you're doing it too much where it has power over you, that is sexual distortion. Some of us don't even have to have sex to activate our kundalini. Sometimes you could just be with your woman and be activating kundalini without even touching. That is the level of kundalini. Kundalini is hypnotic. But what side are you on in the hypnotic? Are you in the hypnosis that you in a trance that you're trying to chase? That's something that happened in a different past life? Or are you a person, you know how to reach a trance state, but you know how to talk to source and get to that altered state of consciousness and move in alignment in the highest version of you to get other people to the highest version of them? Like I said, this is not to shame. This is not to judge. This is to reveal so you can have a revelation, so you can have a breakthrough, so you can move forward. If you want more abundance and you are in secrecy with sexual energy, you're going to limit the abundance, the resources to you. If you are a man and you not embracing your masculine aspect in your human avatar and you're too imbalanced with your feminine, things, challenges, difficulties are going to come in your reality, so you be balanced. And it doesn't mean that has anything to do with your sexuality. Some people get confused with sexuality and being a man. It is some man that is sexually, they like, man, but they are a man. We're not talking about that. We are talking about some men whose their sexuality, they love women, but they're operating as a feminine. If you're overly too emotional, if you do not know how to shift your tone, if you do not know how to be the calm in the chaos, this is very important. You need to have tools when you are at a dysregulated nervous system, when you need to bring that energy out. Some of us need to get into martial art. Some of us need to go take a walk. Some of us need to listen to some music, binaural beats, and ground our frequency and bring it to water. That's what some of us need to do. What is your tools when you need to be the man leader? Some men don't want to provide because they are scared of their full power because they feel like they might abuse it. Like Jeffrey Epstein, like Donald Trump, like Harvey Weinstein. Because you probably did it in a different past life. But let's bring it to fruition. The past is parallels, but if you go to the past and you shift the narrative, you go into forgiveness, it shifts the present and the past. Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Avengers, Endgame. How they went to different quantum reality to get the infinite stones, to shift the timelines. We are not linear beings, my people. Nothing is linear. Everything is a wave. Everything is non-linear. This is very important that we understand this information that's coming through the vessel of Adewale Matthew Adeoye right now. We are not straight line beings. We are not robotic beings. We are not artificial intelligence. We are source intelligence. When you tune into martial art, it taps you into a whole different level of who you are and what is in your DNA. When you learn how to go through challenges, through difficulties, it changes the game. You want to be a man that don't fear anything. You like challenges, you like difficulties because you know that you can get through all of it. This is what the women, the feminine, is looking for. Women intuitively know what is a man. Some of you guys are being males. Ask yourself, if you are a man on this live, am I a man or am I a male? Real leaders hold their self to accountability so they can move to a higher level of reality. Can I get through challenges? Am I resilient? These are the core issues that we are going through as men. You know why we can't overthrow the government? Because there's not enough unity, which is changing. Because the truth is being exposed, so it's getting people to get up and to fight, to bring in a revolution. But the reason why we're not scared, we are scared, especially in America, to overthrow the government because of the fear. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust in source. You don't trust in your resources. So this is why a lot of the feminine, they're always in fear. And as a man, that is your assignment. That is your job, to protect and provide. If you're not protecting and providing for the divine feminine goddesses, the divine child creations, what the fuck are you doing? Let's say, I don't know how. Figure it out. You are a man. Man represents math. Math is something that is always an answer. It's always a solution. It's a problem and you solve it. That is what man is. Why you think man loves numbers? Why you think man loves facts? Why you think man loves science? If you move by numbers, you move by frequencies, you move by vibrations, you will have the secrets of the universe. If you understand the Fibonacci sequence, if you understand astrology, you understand the planets, astronomy, you understand the human anatomy, you will always be good. This is what we need to do as man and be accountable. Well, the white man did this. The colonization did this. Well, the government did this. You are a loser. Winners win. Period. It's different levels of the game. Some people have a frequency, you know what? I'm not going to ever even think how I'm going to lose. I'm only going to think, how can I win? Some of you guys are in the vibration of not trying to lose. I'm not trying to lose. But if you're trying to lose, you're going to lose. And you're at a limited vibration. Is that you? Some of us who are men, I don't want to tap into the woo-woo stuff. It's demonic or whatever. That's too much. I don't understand it. Spirituality, it ain't supposed to make sense all the time. It ain't supposed to make sense all the time. It's an undeniable knowingness. When I was with my wife last night. We was kicking it. We was vibing. She points something out that I didn't even think of. I got a tattoo. It's a lion. She said, oh, that represents me. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't get it because of that. But when I sat with it, I'm like, hold up. My wife's name is Aaron Lyons. And I have a lion. And this is the motherland. And she also a divine feminine. She's also a Leo which is a lion. She's also born on the 18th, which is the 9. So subconsciously, I tatted myself that was telling me I'm going to attract my mate, who is a divine feminine goddess, and her last name is Lions. Hold up. Is that deep? It's like that? She tapping into the subconscious like that? And it's so deep that she got a Capricorn moon that's in the 12th house. That is the house of the subconscious. What? Hold up. Is that deep? But some people, man, it ain't even that deep. We speaking facts today. So this is a situation so you guys understand. We live in a world of meaning. Everything has meaning. Everything is a synchronicity. Everything is a sign. But if you're not spiritually connected, you're never going to see the signs. If you don't see that this is a quantum matrix, this is a quantum multiverse. This is a quantum entanglement. Y'all ever had a situation happen where you was thinking about somebody and then they text you or they called you? That is quantum entanglement. Everything is quantum. Everything is physics. Physics is facts. Nothing is random. Nothing is a coincidence. You're talking to a man, and I'm going to speak this truth so you guys can see I'm no different from you. And I'm going to speak this truth because I don't want it to be used against me, so I'm just going to say it for myself. I was a man that I did not learn how to be a man. I was a man that was always around feminine. So it made me have in my inner thoughts, well, am I a man? Some of these things, I don't know what to do. I never seen it. I was molested as a man. I was confused. Like, well, why did he want me? Should man be with? I don't know. Why did he want me? Why ain't he gonna try to get my sister or somebody else? I was a man who ain't had money at times. So I ain't think I was in my power. I was so driven by money that was why I even wanted to do football. I was so focused on the money, the money, the money. And then I went to an energy I didn't care about money. So I was like, you know what, since I don't care about money, that's why I don't have money. So I'm always about money, money, money. And then if I don't have the money, now I'm mad I don't got money. I can't do this. Man, fuck this world. Fuck this reality. I just want to escape. Now I'm smoking my weed. That was me. That was me. But you know what I did? You know what? I'm no longer going to play victim. But you know what also happened to me? My queen, my divine feminist goddess, Erin Lyons, got me to see different things that, oh, that's what this means. Oh, this the possibility. Oh, this is what I was struggling with, but I need to see it in a reflection as a woman. Oh, now I'm having my breakthrough. Oh, now I'm saying in my brain. Oh, all the things that I knew I was supposed to do, you seen this when I met you, when I had on house shoes. This is the power of the feminine. And if you lean into the feminine and allow her to lead you, so many things can happen. Behind any strong man, it is a woman. I want y'all to hear this. Behind any strong man is a strong woman. All these people who were successful, they had a woman. They had the opposite mate to help them to bring in the empire. Because a feminine, she's naturally connected to source in so many different ways. Beyond some of our masculine linear ways. So if you are a man, include your woman in the things that you do. If you are a man that you feel you got everything in life, but you feel like something's missing, it's probably a woman. Some of these men in different timelines who was masters, where do you think they was getting this information from? Women. But where are we in today? We got men mad at women. So they don't want to protect women. They don't want to lead women. You got men jealous of women. You got men wanting to be women. So do y'all see the imbalance that we are in right now? We need to be balanced, which is the Libra, which is the Mayat, which is the scales. If things are imbalanced, how are we going to ascend as a human species? How are we going to talk to extraterrestrials? How are we going to see them? They already here. The government, they talking to them already. The Russians, they know. Somebody said something. Yo, what is your problem? The fact that you're in tune spiritually and your view on gender is wild. Man can be feminine, woman can be masculine, people can be non-binary. Let's talk about this. First of all, what is your problem? Because if you was here for the whole conversation, this is not an attack on anybody. And I said that. Everyone has masculine and feminine. I said that. You say every time you talk about gender, it's so rigid. It's not rigid. I'm telling you truth. And if you want to hear it, hear it. And if you don't resonate, you don't have to be here. But I'm going to tell you truth that is in balance. Yes, you can be non-binary, but I'm saying this, and this is a fact. If we have everybody in this world that's non-binary, how do we evolve? Because we have to have sex to evolve. Can you answer that question? If not, we have nothing else to talk about. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying, yes, you can be non-binary. Yes, this is part of some people's journeys, but it's a lot of imbalance, and you have an agenda of people trying to put that on people when they're not like that. That's what I'm saying. So maybe you are triggered because maybe this is you. And if you happy, go be happy. But it is people that eat foods, smoking too much weed, or went through experience from their childhood, and they have imbalances, or they didn't have the mom and dad there, or they had imbalances in the family and home. So that's what is imbalanced. That's what we're talking about. This is not to have a conversation to trigger people in a way that makes them feel where you cannot be non-binary. Yes, you can. Everyone has masculine, everyone has feminine. You talking to a man who's very in tune in his feminine and his masculine. This is why I can channel the way that I do. And I also said in this video, this has nothing This has nothing to do with a person's sexuality. So you are listening to what you want to listen to. This is here to help people to understand balance no matter your sexuality. Period. Now we were talking about different species. It will be different. You got dinosaurs that don't need a man to even have a baby. But we're humans. And as humans, we have to have a man and a woman to have a baby. This is science. This is facts. I don't understand how people are not understanding that. What we're talking about today is to help us to evolve and talk about shadow aspects that needs to be clear so we can evolve. If you're not trying to evolve, if you're not trying to have conversations that could potentially trigger you to grow, I am not the person for you. I am not. And I'm at the space of my life. I no longer give a fuck what people think, if they like me or not. Period. It is a fact that we got man that is too feminine. We got women too masculine. And the women who are too masculine is because it wasn't no man. So they had to be. Let's talk about it. We got more people mad at me of talking about gender things than the problem where it's not man being man. You should be mad at man not being man. We talking about man not being man. We're talking about man and sexual distortion that's molesting kids, that's doing child sex trafficking. You got these older men that want these 19-year-olds, which is weird. That's what we're talking about. Do not come on here trying to distract us. We're talking about toxic, distorted masculine energy. We're not talking about anything else. We're staying focused on this. We're not rigid in any view. You're talking to a person who is Christian. You're talking to a person who speaks light language. You're talking to a person who does so many things. I was rigid. How could these things even open up in my reality? They could not. No one's rigid. We always open to receive. We always open because we always know we are a student. You are rigid in your patterns because you want to create distortion about binary things and gender when we're talking about what the problem is on this planet. We have had man that has been leading, and we have man in these religious places where they doing things to kids, they're doing things to women. You got mans who are celebrities that's doing things to women, and they're silencing their power with money. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Nothing else. And someone has to talk about it, or how could we heal? How could we grow? That's what we're talking about. This is what I'm talking about with men. I'm gonna be real. Some men take things too personal. You take things too personal and you're mentally weak. You take things so personal. Why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about that? And that's why we can't get into the macro of finding a solution to grow this planet. This is why we have people in this world. You know what? I'm going to focus on my family. I'm going to get my money and be good. Because we have comments, things like that. Let's focus on the biggest problem. And it's distortion on this planet from man. From man. You know, my wife said something to me. She said, you know, as a woman, I can't just go outside, especially if I'm not with you. I cannot just go outside. I don't feel safe. That, when she said that, I had to process that because I never thought about that. I never thought about that. I'm 6'3". I know martial art. I never think about if I cannot go out my home and I'm not safe, ever. But that's what she thinks. That's what a lot of women thinks. Because as a core of man has done things that make women don't feel safe. So this is why I'm talking about the silent war on masculinity and sexual distortion. You're proving my point. Women do not feel safe. That's the problem. Women don't feel safe. They have a dysregulated nervous system. They're overly stressed. They're so imbalanced in their masculine because masculine ain't being man. That's what I want us to see. So if you're on this live, how can you show up for your family? How can you show up for the collective? And stop talking about bullshit. I'm not talking about non-binary. This is not that conversation. We're not talking about gender roles. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a human avatar of man not being in integrity, not being in their heart. So this is why a lot of people feel like they're on hell on earth. My intention is to get people into heaven on earth. But we're going to talk about that underworld, that Scorpio, the distortion, period. That's what we need to be focusing on. Solution base of the distortion that has been on the planet from man. And some people say it's the white man. No, it's not just a white man. You had Africans that was also having slaves too. We have to have accountability. It ain't just a white man. It ain't just one race. It's been a lot of men in different races. Some of us don't want to hear the truth. And that's the secrecy. And that's the leakage. If this is making sense, if this is resonating, y'all find what I'm putting down. Put a 555 in the chat right now. Martin Luther King had a dream. Malcolm X had a dream. These people are our ancestors. Dr. Sebi had a dream. Fred Hampton had a dream. They all had a dream. And they wanted righteousness. This is where we are at. This is what we're trying to focus on. We're here to bring righteousness, integrity. This is me being my messenger. And I just got to be honest. No distortion can get into the fifth dimension. No heart, no heaven on earth. You cannot come. So whatever thoughts, you're not in integrity, you can't get in the door. You're doing sneaky things. You're trying to have power over people. You cannot be there. You will have to go to another timeline that's not the fifth dimension. Period. Even the story with the angelic that you guys heard me talked about, we had angels coming into human form and doing sexual distortion. It's sexual distortion. People do not know how to be disciplined with sexual energy. And this is part of why some of y'all don't have money. That's what I want y'all to see. Sexual energy is the highest form of energy because energy is being given or received beyond money. So where are you at in energy? That's the positive, that's the negative, that's the yin, that's the yang. Where are you at? It doesn't matter what gender. Are you balanced? You have to be balanced. You cannot be hyper this, hyper that to get to HOE, heaven on earth. So you can accept the truth or you can repel the truth. But I know I am a soul that I'm not a soul that's trying, I'm not a new soul on earth. I'm a very ancient soul on earth. A very ancient soul on earth. I have did things that help to create earth. I have gave people information in different timelines to help earth. I know who I am and I know why I'm here. If I wasn't supposed to be here, I would have died at 19 or I would have died when I got in a fire accident. But I did not. We are three-dimensional beings that we're about to move into the fifth dimension to bring the heavens to the human species so we can evolve, so we can go to Mars, we can go underwater, we can bring back the stuff from Lemuria, we can bring back the stuff to Atlantis. We can bring information from the Palladians. We can bring information from the Andromedans to bring back Christ consciousness. Period. That's why we are here. So before we go today, I want to give us a few more things of the silent war on masculinity. If you are a man, know the power of your emotions. Know how to be efficient in your emotions. Because when you know how to bring that anger, which is not a low vibration, anger is just a expression of how you can transmute energy. So when you know how to do that, this is when you can tap into a different level. Your Tai Chi, your energy. We are all Chi. We are all light. That's what we are to the core, to the core. Once you move into that frequency, own that, this is when you tap into different levels of human capabilities. Telekinesis, time traveling, astro traveling, dreams. You understand the dimensions. You start to channel information beyond your logic. You become more nonlinear. Is that deep? It's 1244, which is the 12 times 12, which is the 144 with the Pisces, which is the 12 zodiac. It's that deep. The 44, which is the 8, which is the Scorpio fortune, me, in the 12th house, which is the Pisces house. Pisces, me. You see, all these things are signs to get us to see that we're all spirit. We're all source. Everything's a spirit. You got the tree spirit, you got the water spirit, you got the fire spirit. So this is what we need to understand, the silent war on masculinity. We need to understand our spiritual power and not abuse it. Use it for the collective. We need to understand our sexual distortion, the shadow aspects of ourself, so we can move to a different level of the heaven on earth. We need to understand the power of the feminine and allow them to lead us spiritually. And this is going to get us to a different activation deeply. We need to understand the power of being a father. And father doesn't mean just giving a kid money. It's me being present, telling the kid, I'm proud of you, giving a kid a routine, helping the kid to go through trials and tribulations and go through challenges and they move forward. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how can we create fire? How we know how to use our inner compass without this technology. That's what we need to worry about. How can we get land and build things on land? That's what we're talking about. That's what we need to move to. Someone says something, and I really resonate with this as well. Women are witches, men are warlocks. But man been at war. So this is why they're not unlocked. We need to stop being at war with each other. We need to be at war on anyone who's trying to take our power. That is correct. Someone said, men are witches as well. I was a witch. I do know this one in one of my past lives. We all have the masculine and the feminine with the masculine. We all help and guide each other. We have to stop fighting and stop being so emotional when somebody's saying something and listen for understanding than being triggered and want to respond. That's what alters our growth. That's what stops our growth. Do not allow this to be you. I love you, family. This at the end of the month, I will be doing a class on February 28th for the Masculine Collective. You guys who are not on my email list, you want to get on my email list so you guys can see this information. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Akashic Wizard. If you on Instagram, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, because we're about to really deeply touch the Masculine Collective, because this is what we need. I also have a retreat that will be on April 9th through 12th. If some of you guys are looking for mentorship, I will be launching my group mentorship at the beginning of March. So it's a lot of stuff that I'm opening of offers so we can move differently, collectively as women and men, and who we are royalty. We are all royalty, and royalty move a certain way. And this is why in the royalty timeline, this is why the parents would choose who their son or their woman will mate with. It's that important of your seed. But some of us just giving our seeds away. Don't allow that to be you. So this is what we have for today. I love you guys all. Make sure you guys send this to a man that needs some healing, that needs to process some things, because it's going to help them deeply. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.